Hello, welcome to my first live. Well, at least my first YouTube live. We'll see how this thing goes. I've done them live on TikTok before, didn't love it. So, if we haven't met and you just stumbled upon this, my name is Bree. I'm an RN and NP mentor, interview strategist, and content creator. And I have a channel where I talk about all things NP professional and a little bit educational. I mostly do educational, like critical care kind of talking stuff on TikTok. But I got a request from someone named MC on a previous video that has validated my entire existence and has now pushed me into the realm of beauty influencer. Her name, his or her name is MC, and they asked me to do a makeup tutorial, and I don't really know how to do that kind of stuff, but I was very flattered. And because I love all the pretty things, I thought, well, sure, I'll do it. But how about we put a little twist on it and make it a live where I talk about NP stuff, because that's what I do. So I am trying to do, this is a little trial. Y'all let me know how it goes. We'll do a weekly get ready with me where I do my makeup and we talk about nurse practitioner stuff. And it can be clinical or professional or whatever you're interested in. Today's topics, we're going to be makeup and asthma because those topics work very well together. And I've been talking about asthma a little bit lately. I'm writing a blog post on it currently, so it's kind of on my mind. So if y'all have questions, please put them in the chat and I will be sure to address them. If not, I'll just monologue because, you know, all villains love to monologue. That's what we say in our household, at least. My oldest kid, Paige, likes to talk a lot. And when she was little, she would monologue, like with her little toys. She would monologue for a long period of time. You have to be the kind of person who's comfortable with talking to the abyss. I don't think I mind it so much. So maybe that makes me a villain. I don't know. Anyways, okay, so let me start with a little bit. I'm getting ready for my night shift. I work in an ICU here in Georgia. It's a very busy unit. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready. This is my, you're welcome. This is my base face, my no foundation face. And got to give you a little bit of background here. Let me get close to the camera. This is very, very vulnerable post here. I don't know if you can, it's not coming across on camera very well, but I have a lot of little red bumps here and dryness that come down here. What is that? What is that? It started 6 months into the pandemic. And y'all, I was convinced I had painless shingles because that's a thing, right? But it was only on one side of my face and it was right here. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have shingles. The stress of COVID and all these patients has given me shingles. So I finally made it to my dermatologist and she said, no, girl, that's just rosacea. Welcome to middle-aged adulthood. So this is rosacea. It flared, it will like flare up and then it'll get better, but it's red and little bumps and very, very, very dry. So moisturize. Moisturization is how I start all the things. So the first thing I use is this thing called, what is this thing called? Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel. I don't know. I feel very official holding things up in a camera like a beauty influencer. I put it under my eyes. It's an eye serum because dry skin responds very well to eye serum. And then the moisturizer I'm using right now is this stuff, La Roche-Posay. So I already put those things on. Okay, so then I'll just start getting my foundation ready and all that. And while we're doing that, I'll tell you about asthma because it's not often that we get asthma in the ICU. It's just not. Also, FYI, somebody at Ulta sold me this and I love it. It's Bobby Brown. What's her name? Something Bobby Brown. It's called Face Base. And this is really good for dry skin. It's a primer. It's super, super like thick, but it smells good. It smells like oranges and citrus. So I put this all over my face because this just gets me ready to receive the foundation and it is added layer of moisturization. I know all my NP friends, if anyone is watching this at all, is like, what the heck is she talking about makeup for? Okay, but asthma. So it's not often we get asthma in ICU. It's really not. And when we do, it's usually a young person, so it makes it even more like the pressure's on to do it right. And even that, it's rare that they go into like status asthmaticus where you have to tube them. So when you do, it's not that they're hard to manage. It's just that sort of like COVID, there's limitations on how much you can do for them. It's sort of like you put the foundations in place, like the gold standard treatment for them, and then you just kind of like pray. But the biggest thing with asthma is you can make them much worse with your ventilator strategy. So I think the biggest goal in intubated asthma patients is just to not make them worse. So, first of all, the normal stuff: steroids, nebs, like continuous nebs, possibly. Um, Magnesium. So magnesium is a little bit controversial, but I use it because I feel like, what's it going to hurt, right? Um, okay, so concealer. I use a cheapo Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. This stuff, I love it. It's really great for old people with wrinkles, stuff that settles here. And I use a super fair because I am Whitey McWhiterson. It's 120 light. And I just put it here. Okay, so steroids, nebs, magnesium, epi. So epi is a bronchodilator, right? It's a beta-2 agonist. So all forms of epi, really. EpiPens, right, are IM injections. You can do inhaled epi, racemic epi for people with stridor, or you can do systemic epinephrine drips, which have a whole host of complications that come along with it because you're giving an epi drip, so they're going to be very hyperdynamic, so you have to manage that too. But epinephrine. And then I did write some notes down. And just that, right? So just typical asthma treatment, preventing any pneumonia, treating any pneumonia, preventing any problems, bronching, suctioning if you need to, if they've got a lot of secretions and whatnot. But the biggest thing is you don't want to have to intubate these people if you don't have to, because they already have a respiratory acidosis, right? They're obstructing, they're retaining CO2. It's building. They've got a lot of carbon dioxide in it, and they've got a lot of air trapped in their chest. So a lot of intrathoracic pressure. So people who are acidotic, if you sedate them, if you paralyze them, if you take away their breathing efforts, they become more acidotic. So they code. Plus, you're doing positive pressure ventilation. So you're adding more air into a chest that's already big and tight and full. So you're decreasing venous return. So their blood pressure can tank. So these people, peri-intubation can be a little scary. Not because they desat, but because they can be hemodynamically very unstable. So these are people that, like, as I was getting ready to intubate, I would put them on a IV drip. I would just put them on an infusion of some LR or something and run it. I would also get a Levofed drip, probably actually maybe epi, now that I've said that, because of the bronchodilator effects. I mean, it's a little bit more in epi than it is in Levo, so maybe that. And first pass, you want first pass success. These are not the people you want to mess around with. These are not the ones you practice on. Okay, this is my foundation. I use a very expensive foundation. I use Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation, and I have color number 3. Cool. It looks like this. Let me put the thing on it. I love this because when you have rosacea or anything else like dark circles, you need like full coverage. So I use full coverage makeup. Now this, because I have dry skin, is not going to last a full 12-hour shift. It might last 12 hours, but like if I'm putting it on now and I'm not coming home until 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to look like crap come like 4, 5 in the morning. And then I'll just put it like my first dabs wherever I need it heaviest, which is right around here. And I just start like, adding it in, dabbing it in. A dab, don't drag, because dry skin doesn't like to be drug. It'll settle into all those places that are dry. This is so foreign to me, y'all. I feel like, why am I, like, who wants to hear me talk about makeup? MC does. MC, I love you. Thank you so much for validating my existence in the world. Oh, that's a little heavy. That's a little on the heavy side. So I'm going to pull some of that down here. And I got, a lot of hair in the way. It's a problem. Actually, it's not a problem. I like it. So what were we saying about asthma? So intubation. Okay, so first pass success, have someone good doing it. Bag them effectively. Don't overbag or underbag these people. And then get them on a vent with a moderate strategy. And here's where the trick is, y'all. Your ventilator approach. These people are very, very prone to asynchrony. They don't tolerate a lot of the pressure because they've already got so much pressure in there. So you're going to heavily sedate them, possibly even paralyze them if you can't ventilate them. But in general, your approach once you've intubated them is just to give them time. Asthma is what? It's inflammation of the airways, right? They need nebs, they need steroids, they need time. The ventilator isn't going to fix that. So our goal is not to put them on a ventilator to fix a hypercarbic respiratory acidosis. But I think everybody forgets about that. Everybody, and I mean everybody, RTs to providers to physicians, everybody seems to forget that that's our goal. They look at like an initial ABG that may be, I don't know, 722 and a PCO2 of 99 and a PO2 that's normal, right? 298 or something like that. And they go, okay, let's blow off all this CO2. Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Hold up your strategy, because the problem is to fix that kind of thing, what you have to do is hyperventilate them, right? You've got to increase that minute ventilation. That's increasing more pressure. So you're taking a person who's already got a bunch of pressure in their chest and adding more pressure to them to help them ventilate it off. Or you're going to have to do something like stretch out. All right, so you really, really want these people to have a long time to exhale, right? So typically to increase minute ventilation, you have to either what? Increase the tidal volume, which is increasing pressure, or increase the respiratory rate. If you increase the respiratory rate, it's all a numbers game. You're going to have less time in the exhalation phase because you're going to have more inhalation cycles. So your E time is going to go down. And that is what leads to auto PEEP, which worsens all that pressure. And these are the people that code. These are the ones that get into a whole heap of trouble. The ventilator may or may not be alarming based on what they've set alarms for. They're going to have high peak pressures. Probably, okay, so typical asthma is going to have a normal plateau pressure. But if you're developing auto PEEP and you got a lot of pressure in the chest, that's when your compliance is going to suffer. And that's where you're going to see your plateau pressures rising. That's how you know you're over ventilating them. So what's the answer? You stop overventilating them. You increase your E time, decrease your I time, give them longer respiratory cycles, decrease your respiratory rate, decrease your tidal volumes, and allow some permissive hypercapnia. Okay, now next step, because I know you're fascinated. Anastasia, I think that's how you say it. That's how I've heard people say it before. This is just a kit of contouring. So it's got like these colors in it. This is my daughter Hannah's, and she didn't want it, so I inherited it, and I'm super excited about it. So I take this color up in the corner. This is my bronzer, and this is a new trick I just learned. So all of you middle-aged ladies like myself are gonna be thrilled. I used to watch influencers put like their bronzer right here. Like you want to put your dark color where you want the indentation to be, which should be underneath your cheeks, right? So I'd put it here. And all my videos, I had like this long line here because it didn't blend very well on me. I watched somebody my age or older. Do you want to stop doing that? Because you're old, you want to draw the eye up. So I put it high up. I smile and put it high up on my cheekbone. So then it raises the eye up, so then I don't have this like long line down there. I don't know how this is. I've never put makeup on in my computer. I'm using my webcam, which is probably not going to be the best quality. So sorry about that, guys. It's amateur hour around here. I just kind of make sure it's balanced, because my friend Cece says her pet peeve is when one cheek is not the same as the other. Apparently I do that a lot. Cece, screw you, friend. I'm going to blend it out. And then I'm going to contour the other areas. So my Whitey McWhiterson has some contour to it, and it looks like maybe I got just, you know, like a little bit of sun in my life. I don't know. Okay, I'm done with that brush. I put it back, and then I just kind of like try and like make it not look so unnatural. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then the next step is to use, oh gosh, almost stuff. The blush in this palette, which is tourmaline. It's called tourmaline. It's again that Anastasia. It's the same palette. It's this one. Obviously, I've used it a lot. And I do the same thing. Smile. Just literally right over top of that. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do or not, but that's what works. That's what works for me. Okay, done with that one. And then the last thing I use on this palette, I take a little like medium blender brush. This is a Cara Beauty K17. Oh, I use a lot of Sigma brushes, but this is a different one. I don't even know where I got it. Sorry, guys. I take this thing, I dip it in the yellowy one, which is called Summer. And that's where I highlight. And the only thing I highlight is the tip of my nose. There's probably better things I could highlight, but whatever, that's what I do. All right, and then I'm done with that palette. And then I move on to the eyes, which is really what I think MC wanted to know. And they asked about a specific video, and I looked at that video. It's the one where I talked about how to interview if you have no experience as an NP. I don't remember exactly what colors I used there. I'm so sorry, but I tend to use the same stuff over and over again. So I'm going to give you a general idea of what I use. So I like Makeup Geek, and I have 2 palettes of these. I like Makeup Geek because you can pick your colors and then make your own palette. So these are a lot of the colors that I use, a lot of browns. I have blue eyes. So I think a good counter color to that is like some new, like earth tones. There's a lot of browns, oranges, pinks. This one is a mess. I can't even show it to you because it's tacky, tacky, tacky. Okay, so sorry, this is getting to the makeup heavy portion, guys. Sorry. The fans need to know. Okay, so today, let me see, what did I do in that one? It wasn't an orangey looking one, and I'm kind of wearing a pink shirt, so maybe I will, I think I'm gonna do this one. That one? Yeah. Okay, I take a medium color first, so I'm gonna use this one. Typically I'll do like this one of these. Probably that one is what I usually use. I'll use this one today. I used to use more of a more of a neutral charcoal-y kind of color, but this is what I'm going to use today. I think this is closest to what you wanted in that video. So I just dip it a couple times in there, and then I start here, and I just, oh gosh, I've never done it like that. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to do it over here. So wherever you put your brush first is where it gets the darkest. Be cautious, it might be darker than you want. And I just kind of like rub it back and forth. There's really nothing fancy about it. Just rub, rub, rub. I'm going to do the other side, try and keep it equal, CC. I don't think there's anybody watching this. There's certainly no comments yet. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in there and I will definitely answer it. Otherwise, I'm just going to, keep monologuing because why not? Okay, done with that brush. Then I'm going to do like the next darker color. I don't have a great next. Okay, I'm going to go to my other palette here because this one's a little bit more of a brown. It's, let me see if I can show it to you. It looks like this. This is called Dark Roasted. Looks like that. Also, if I suddenly have to jump off this call, it's because our refrigerator is broken and I'm waiting on the repairman to come. And you know how they give you that like 5 to 6 hour window when they'll be here? He hasn't come yet. So if he shows up, I got to figure it out because we need some refrigeration. Luckily, we have like 2 backup refrigerators. So we're able to move everything over into a smaller one. But okay, so what I did with that was I just go like literally right in the center, like right over the crease. And it looks, it kind of spreads out a little. It's fine. It's just you want to kind of highlight this middle piece right here. Okay, done with that brush. Then I'm going to take the not the last one, next last one. This one is, oh gosh, this doesn't even have, this is Eco Tools. I think I saw these the other day in a set at TJ Maxx. It's just a cheapo, but it's a dense brush and it's short and it's angled. That's really all that matters. You take your darkest color, the darkest color you're going to use. And I think I'm going to do one it's got a little bit of red in it. I don't know how this color palette's going to turn out. And then I can't do it like this. I got to look in the mirror. But basically, I take the corner and I just dab it like in a wedge pattern. I got to do it in my little mirror because you'll need to see an appropriate representation of how it turns out. So yeah, I was talking about asthma because I had an asthma patient recently. Obviously, I can't talk about it, what happened, because HIPAA and all that. But Man, when it's a young person with asthma, you really, really want them to do well. And this person did. My dog's barking, which means that guy's probably here. We'll see. All right, last color is this light one, the lightest one you got. You're gonna go right here in the center and pull it out. And just kind of like create a little window like this. Okay, so now it looks weird because nothing's blended out. So I take another of the Sigma like this, and I just kind of like blend it. I just blur it, really is all I do. I just blur it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's here. Dog. He's here. Of course, guys. All right, let's pick this up next week. Maybe I'll have more than 4 people and some questions to answer. Thanks for joining, guys. Sorry I couldn't finish.